Hello everyone, my name is Gozi Ujogun. Today I'll be talking us through dining etiquette. Now, why is this important? You never know where you might find yourself. A customer, supplier, someone in your business may invite you to a 5-star restaurant for dinner. And the worst thing that could happen is that you get into this restaurant and you see all these utensils on your plate and you have absolutely no idea what to do. So that's why I'm here, so that wherever you're invited to, be it in Nigeria or outside the country, and you walk into a dinner setting, you know what to do, how to behave, and what is acceptable in a dining setting. First things first, when you're invited for dinner, most important thing is you must be on time. It's extremely rude that someone invites you for dinner at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m., and you arrive there at even 7:05. Okay? Arrive there on time so that everybody is seated. And of course, you wait for the host to give you your seat before you sit down. Now, once you arrive on the table, it's important that you sit from your left and you get up from your right. So I'll demonstrate that, okay? This is my chair, which will most likely be tucked in. I pull it out without creating chaos. Sit in from my left, and you can gradually bring your seat in. Okay, and ensure you're comfortable. You can see how I'm seated as well. It looks like there's a golden rule pulling me from the top. You should sit like this on a dining table, not slouch, not like this, but sit like this. Okay, so that's first things first. Like I said, you wait for the host to tell you where to sit before you sit down. And the first thing you do once you sit down on the table is you put your napkin, which is here, on your lap. You can either leave it folded like this, or you can open it up and make a triangle, which is what I typically do, like this, and then place it on your lap. And what I see most times is that some people put it here. That's unacceptable in dining etiquette. It must be on your lap. And if for any reason you need to leave your table or the seat, you put it on your chair or beside your plate, and then leave. If for any reason you need to leave the table, you don't have to announce to the entire world that you're going to the toilet, okay? You just excuse me, put the napkin either on your chair or beside your plate and come out from the right of your chair. Okay, so I'll talk about some tips before I go into the demonstration. Most times in a 5-star restaurant, you have waiters coming to ask you what you want and all of that. So it's important you look at the menu and decide on your menu selection as soon as possible so that you don't delay the rest of the people on the table. It's important you never order the most expensive item. That goes without saying, basically. And of course, when you're ordering, order something that you know you can easily manipulate. Don't go and order maybe a lobster that you know you're going to tackle with and create an entire mess on the table. Order something you're familiar with so that you ensure that you're eating the right way. Another thing is, of course, you wait for everyone to be served before you start eating. I'll repeat that because it's very important. You wait for every single person on the table to be served before you start digging into your food. It's extremely crucial that we do that. Now, if someone tells you to pass the salt, you pass the salt and the pepper. That's just dining etiquette, okay? If someone asks you to pass the salt or pass the pepper, you pass both of them together. Don't talk with your mouth full. That goes without saying. That just, is very off-putting. And like I said earlier, if you need to leave the table for any reason, you have a call. It's extremely disrespectful to take a call while you're seated on the dining table with other people there. If you need to take a call, just simply excuse yourself, leave the table, and then go to a corner somewhere to take the call. Now let's go into the place setting. Like I said, it's important that you understand or you know what to look out for when you come into a restaurant or an environment like this. The worst thing that could happen is that you come here and you don't even know where to start, okay? You see all these things on the table, you have absolutely no idea where to start. So that's why this is very important. So if you see, of course, the setting on the table, you have a small fork here, and then you have another fork here. Now this small fork is your starter fork. And then this is your dinner fork, which is your main course fork. You have 2 knives here. The one towards the end is for the main course. Sorry, for the starters, and then the one here is for the main course. Now, how you work your way using your cutleries, you start from outside and you work your way inwards. So you can see these 2, these are for the starters. Once you're done with the starters, the waiter will most likely take away your plate and your cutlery, and then you're left with the 2 inner ones, which is for your main course. You have a spoon here in case you have soup for starters, or even for your dessert. Let's say they give you a piece of cake or something. And when taking your soup, you can see a soup bowl. You scoop like this, put it in your mouth, scoop like this, put it in your mouth. You don't do this. No, you scoop and put it in your mouth. That's for the soup bowl. So I'll keep this here. Most times you see a plate here. This is your bread plate. What I usually do to remember this is B, D. B meaning bread on your left and D for drinks. So on your right, you see your drinks. On your left is for your bread. Because most times in a dinner setting, everything is lined up. So it's important you know which glass is for you and which bread plate is for you, so that you don't go there picking, because you see another cup here for someone else, so that you don't end up picking someone else's cup. So that's basically how the table is set. This is for my starters. The top plate is for my starters, and then of course the bottom is for my main course. So what happens in most 5-star restaurants is that once you're done with your starters, this is how you cut, by the way. Let's say you're cutting chicken, you cut, put it in your mouth, take another piece, cut it, and put it in your mouth. If you're eating rice, your main course, you scoop it in like this and eat it. Scoop and eat. If you need to cut your protein, your chicken, your meat, you cut it like this and you eat. Now, if you're still eating, you can leave your cutlery like that. There's nothing wrong with having a conversation beside the next to the person beside you. There's absolutely nothing wrong. The only important thing you should note is that you do not talk with your mouth full. In fact, having conversations is part of dining etiquette, okay? You don't just focus on your food and ignore everyone else on the table. It's important to start conversation and engage with other people seated around you. So if my cutlery is like this means I'm still eating and the waiter won't come and take my plate away. However, when you're done eating, you put your fork and knife in, consider a clock, so you're putting it in the 4 position, like this. Once your fork and knife is like this, your waiter knows that you're done eating, and then they'll take the plate away from you. Like I said, when you're leaving the table, if you need to leave for any reason, do not tell everybody you're going to the bathroom. That's just unacceptable. You just excuse yourself from the table. Oh, sorry, excuse me. And you leave the table. Now, if you're drinking your water, for ladies like me, most times we have lipstick on, lip gloss on. It's important you drink from the same part of the glass, okay? So that you don't have lipstick marks all over your thing and it doesn't look like a crime scene. So it's important when I drink and drop it back, I drink from exactly the same part my lips touch, so that you don't have your lipstick and it doesn't create a sore sight for everyone else seated on the table. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate lastly how you leave the table when you're done eating. Okay, so you stand up, whether you're done eating or not. If you're not done eating, you can either place your napkin on the chair or beside your plates. Now, most times when we eat, you might have, let's say you've eaten fish or something, you may have bones and all of that. While eating, you put it on your napkin, but when you get up, make sure you fold it and put it on the side so that everyone doesn't see all the mess you've created in your napkin. And of course, you step out and you tuck your chair back in. And that's how you leave the table. Okay, it's also important that we know where to place our hands while eating. Of course, while eating, your cutlery will be here, so you just, cut and eat. It's important that your elbows are never on the table, like so. That's just not proper dining etiquette. I'm also here to debunk that notion that our parents and grandparents told us back then about not talking while eating. I guess they did that so that we don't choke on the food. But proper dining etiquette is that you must engage in conversation. If not, you're just seen to be rude or arrogant. It's important you have someone seated beside you. Of course, not when there's food in your mouth. Once you're done eating whatever is in your mouth, talk to the person beside you. It's all about networking. Things have changed since our parents and grandparents' time. So it's proper dining etiquette to engage with others on the table while eating. So while eating, there's absolutely nothing wrong with holding your cutlery while you're chewing the food in your mouth. Alternatively, if it's uncomfortable, you can just place your fork and knife like so. Like I mentioned, this doesn't mean that you're done eating. It's when both fork and knife are placed to number 4 of the clock. That's when your waiter will know that you're done eating. Okay, so this is the tea setting. You have your teacup, your saucer plate, and your saucer and your teaspoon. And then you have this, which most times contains your hot water. This, which most times contains your hot milk, either in powder or liquid form. And this for your sugar. So you just came for maybe tea break with someone. You first of all start by putting in your coffee or your tea bag. You put it in, and then you pour your milk as much as you want. Put in your sugar, which is here, and then pour your hot water. When pouring the water, it's important you put another hand here so that you avoid any spillage or any disaster happening on the table. So I take this and pour my hot water in. Use your spoon and mix it carefully. You don't have to make so much noise as you're doing that. Just mix it carefully. Drop the spoon back and drink your tea. Once you're done, you put it back on the saucer and you continue like that. Now, sometimes you see people using the teaspoon to drink the tea or the coffee. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable behavior, please, never. And when you're drinking, there's some people that could, carry their glass up, their saucer up and drink. I would avoid that, especially if you have a spoon there. You can just carry your tea or your teacup drink and place it back. So that's basically how to, drink tea in a corporate or social setting. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening to our conversation on dining etiquette. If you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to send messages to the phone number on the screen or to our social media handles, which are displayed on the screen. Thank you once again, and I hope you've learned a thing or two from this topic today.